Welcome to Small Business Big Story, powered by Opswell. I'm your host, Marilyn Francis Booker. Yeah, the full government name. Small Business Big Story, the place where businesses come for community and camaraderie. In today's economic environment of tariffs, inflation, reduced profit margins, a shifting and reduced workforce, and now a full-blown federal government shutdown, we need to network, share best practices, and support each other now more than ever. So get your sense of community here. Our rising tide will raise all boats. Commercial time.
Small Business Big Story is brought to you by Opswell, the premier B2B service connecting buyers and sellers. If you are looking to develop new business relationships that can support your business journey and enhance your sense of community, head on over to Opswell. That's OPPSWELL. Check it out and get your 6-month free trial. Community and networking is everything to business. Who you know is just as important as what you know.
And we're back. So let's get into it. Each week, we shine a light on the grit, the grind, the heart, the hustle behind small businesses. Real stories, real resources, real advice. Wherever you are in your business evolution, this is your space to learn, reflect, get inspired, and build community. So I have a question for you. Have you ever laid awake at night worrying about payroll, deadlines, or whether you can keep going just for one more week? Well, if you have, you are not alone, which is why in today's episode, we're going to get real about burnout, the silent business killer. Burnout is hitting small business owners harder than ever, and it's important to know how to protect both your mental health and your business so that your dreams are not derailed. According to a recent study by Small Business Trends, 40% of small business owners experience some type of depression, and they've done this over the past year due to financial hardship. And nearly 47% of those surveyed said that the U.S. economy significantly impacted their mental health. And according to a recent bank study, 56% of small business owners surveyed reported being diagnosed with anxiety, depression, or stress-related disorders by a mental health professional. Now, there are so many studies on mental health of small business owners, and I could go on and on with the stats. But what I really want to know is what is going on here. So let's get some answers. Today's guest on Small Business Big Story is extremely qualified to shed some light on what is happening with our small business owners. Not only does she have years of experience working in our high-stress judicial system, but she is also a licensed clinical social worker who provides therapy to children, individuals, and families. Let's welcome Ladina Gamble to Small Business Big Story. Welcome, Ladina.
Thank you.
And I would love for you to start by just sharing a little information about your background and why you have now decided to devote your career to helping people identify and nurture their mental health needs.
So I have been in the field now for over 40 years. I initially was employed by the 8th Judicial District Court in the Las Vegas Justice Court system for over 35 and a half years. And in my capacity there, I worked with individuals, families, and couples, and also the latter part of my career, I was a court administrator. Mm-hmm. In 2015, I retired, and after 3 years, I realized I missed working. And I went back and completed my clinical hours and became a clinical social worker. And I have now been in the field of mental health for 8 years.
That's wonderful. So you've had a lot of experiences, not just in the judicial system, because that's another podcast for sure, but in your 8 years as a clinician, how do you define burnout for business owners?
It's really the mental, physical exhaustion and emotional that individuals experience as a result of being, most of the time, being overwhelmed or just working countless hours in their business.
Got it. And I mentioned earlier about, small business owners, they're not alone. What are some of the warning signs where you can see that you're talking to a client or a small business owner and they're on the brink of either depression, anxiety, a mental breakdown coming from the stresses of their business?
One of the first clues for many of the business owners is that they have a short fuse, and they become easily frustrated when someone may ask them just a simple question, or one of their partners that they're working with in the community may have a request, and all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah.
how am I going to be able to do this? And also when one starts to socially isolate, they're no longer wanting to come into the office, interact with their family and friends, and they just totally withdraw emotionally and physically.
Exactly. So those are the signs that something is lurking on the horizon.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I know that one of the things that you and I have talked a lot about is small business owners, when they're deciding to own a business, they put together a business plan.
Yes.
And they cover a lot of different things, but they don't talk about what's necessary to make sure that they protect their mental health. So with that in mind, a mental checklist, what are some of the things that you can share that small business owners should be putting on that mental checklist, maybe in that business plan, to make sure that they are prepared to deal with any challenges that may come with respect to the burnout aspect or the mental challenges aspect?
I do a lot of work with individuals in therapy in developing really a me plan, and that includes a schedule of how they're going to function daily. That being making sure they get appropriate sleep, taking at least 30 minutes a day to exercise, taking an inventory of what they're fueling in their body, what they're eating, because sometimes folks are working so hard, it's easy just to go to the fast food or the processed food, which oftentimes makes them lethargic.
Yes.
And also the check-ins with family and friends, because sometimes when folks are working 24/7, they're not connecting with their loved ones. And so that mental health checklist should also include family and friends.
Exactly. And it's interesting that you say the me time, because I know as a small business owner, I put that off. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow becomes tomorrow and I never get it done. And sometimes it's challenging because I should say, I'm thinking about all the things I have to do. And I was like, oh, I can take that walk tomorrow.
Yes.
Or I can, isolate and take that me time in 2 days from now. So it's really a challenge.
And one of the best tools individuals can put on their checklist is also learning to delegate.
Yes.
Individuals think, I have to do that. I have to do this. I have to make sure it's done right. But with today's technology and tools and just the resources out there to delegate, and then even as a business owner, sometimes you're coming in just to make sure it's done correctly. The other thing is to make sure, this is so important, that you educate yourself about your business and know it from the beginning to the end. And oftentimes folks have a wonderful idea about their business, but they don't know how to execute it.
Yes.
So that's really important.
Yes. And I love the idea of education, because I always say that education, it's a never-ending journey.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter, how old you are or how senior you are or how advanced you are in your career. We all still need to continue to educate ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And oftentimes your employees will be looking to you for the answers, and if you don't even know how the business works, then that creates stress.
Yes.
because then you have to go to someone else for an answer
Mhm.
or research it, which is taking time, valuable time, because your
Yes.
time becomes very valuable
Mhm.
when you're a small business owner, as it relates to that. So that sometimes makes individuals feel, I'm so stressed, I don't know what to do.
Mhm.
Step back.
Yeah.
One of the mental checklists
Yes.
should be learning how to breathe
Mhm.
properly.
Mhm. Yes. No, that
Yes.
very important. Very important. So I'm just curious because I know, and I'm sure you as well. I have a number of friends who are not small business owners, but they're stressed out and they're burnt out. But I think there's something a little bit different though about the burnout when you're working in corporate America or other jobs, and when you're owning your own business. Maybe it's the burden or the responsibility that you feel everything is on your shoulders. So why do you think, I mean, maybe it's the same reason, but why do you think that small business owners experience maybe a different type of burnout?
For many business owners, they want to go into business because they feel they can do it better. And they have the idea, but sometimes the frustration comes in the implementation.
Mhm.
And so when they realize that, this is a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to be,
Mhm.
that increases their level of stress.
Yes. Mhm.
And I always share with clients that it's important that you learn to forgive yourself. And they say, what do you mean by that?
Mhm.
If you don't have the answer,
Yes.
it's okay not to have the answer,
Mhm.
because there's enough resources out there that you can go
Mhm.
and get the information that you need.
Yes. Mhm.
But thinking that I have to be everything
Mhm.
puts added stress on individuals.
Yeah. I think that is so important that you said it's okay not to have the answer, because I think that some business owners think that if I don't know how to do it and I don't have the answer, then that equals failure.
Well, there's a vulnerability to admitting you may not have the answer. And, I'm the business owner. I'm supposed to know this.
Yes.
So to be that vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
many people are not comfortable with that.
Yes, yes. No, that's such a very important point. And that kind of leads me to my next question around boundaries, because I think that as a small business owner, and I can speak for myself because I am one, we want to be all things to all people because we are very focused on being successful in our business ventures. But we have to set boundaries at some point.
Yes.
So can you talk about the importance of boundaries and how to do that?
That will be probably your number one coping strategy as it relates to business.
Mhm.
Because when one sets boundaries,
Mhm.
and I had shared with you earlier that no is a complete sentence,
Yes, yes.
that it allows you a moment to step back,
Mhm.
recalibrate,
Mhm.
and go forward. But if you do not have those boundaries and you're just taking everything in and being all things to all people,
Mhm.
then you're exhausted by the end of the day.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you don't even have an opportunity to relax, because then you start overthinking, did I
Yes.
say the right thing? Did I do the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
But with boundaries, when something comes to you and you may not have the answer, then you can say, Marilyn, I'll get back with you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you're establishing that,
Mhm.
because all along you're looking at your brand.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And if you do not follow through, people are going to say, well, I don't want to go there because they're not going to do what I need them to do in a timely manner. But giving people realistic expectations is also what occurs with boundaries.
No, absolutely. And I think realistic expectations is so important, because one of the things that I know that we've talked about before is, you have someone, a patient, a client who thinks, you know what, I'm okay now. I can do this on my own, not realizing that, the mental health aspect, it's a journey.
Yes.
And how do you, or what do you say to clients, patients, and people who are out there listening who think, I'm okay, I got this now, and they don't really understand that it can be a lifelong journey for most people. So how do you help folks navigate that?
One of the things that I share with clients in a session is that
Yes.
is that falling down is okay, Most people think I have to be perfect. I have to look good. I have to smell good. I have to have all the right answers. Give yourself permission to fail
Yes.
because the living will come in getting up.
Yes. Very important.
Yes.
Very important message. Exactly. So tied to that, because again, I know that when people do fall down, they want to get up. But one of the challenges that I know a lot of people, particularly smaller businesses, that may be getting squeezed by things that are going on now in our economy around, rising costs, inflation, tariffs, is money.
Yes.
And what's going on in the medical health space now. I mean, how can small business owners, who may not have the budget to do these types of things, how do they still find a way to address any mental challenges that they're facing?
There are a lot of good tools out there as it relates to literature. One of the books that I use with clients a lot, it's called Boundary Boss by Terry Cole, who's at LCSW, which is a licensed clinical social worker. The book was originally written for women as it relates to establishing boundaries, but it is being used for all genders. And it gives examples. So there's a lot of literature out there, and it's also a lot of not just literature, but even on social media. There's some very good on Instagram psychologists that are providing just snippets of information, because I know running a small business, sometimes people don't have a lot of available time.
Yes.
And also professionals. And there's many agencies that are private nonprofit. There's also through individuals medical insurance that they can seek mental health. Most companies have the benefit of mental health services, and there's private practitioners like myself. So there are tools out there. Also through our local Chamber of Commerce, there's mentorship programs, and also there, depending on what business you may have, there's groups that they could join, peer groups, and establishing a mentor or finding someone in the community to work with them.
No, that is so important. It's really about that connection.
Networking.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So my last question to kind of bring this full circle is, we've talked about the stigma around mental health, and I think at one point in one of our conversations you said years ago it used to be called mental illness.
Yes.
Which obviously exacerbated the stigma, and now it's mental health. But what words of encouragement can you share with people who might still be ashamed of needing to address their mental health issues and ashamed to admit that they're having challenges? What words of encouragement can you give to them to say, you got this, address it?
I'm proud to say that it's being publicized more about mental health as opposed to mental illness. Prior to COVID, 67 million Americans suffered from depression and anxiety. There's been no longitudinal studies done since COVID, but I think that number is going to go up. That's just my own opinion. And most people are struggling with depression and anxiety on a daily basis. So it's all about learning how to manage that. And through the media, you're seeing more and more athletes talk about it, you're entertainers, and that gives it a lot of credibility.
Yes, it does.
Because many folks, they worship some of these folks, and they're just like, oh, if so-and-so had an issue, it's okay if I have an issue. So in just changing the terminology to mental health has made it easier for people to accept. And also at people's place of employment through EAP programs, they're providing more resources for individuals. And then even some small business owners have EAP programs that help their staff know that there are resources out there, not only for them, but also for the small business.
Absolutely. And the EAP, the Employee Assistance Programs, are critical.
Oh,
and you're
yes.
right, a lot of small businesses do have those. And I know one of the things we talked about, given statistics around, 20% of all small businesses unfortunately fail within the first year, and by 5 years, the 5-year mark, over 50% have failed. So it really is important to get ahead of these mental health issues and get the support, get the mentorship, bring in your community, because I always say it takes a village.
It does.
And getting everybody to support you in your business adventure.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Adina, thank you so much for sharing your professional words of wisdom. Where can people connect with you if they need help developing more mental health coping skills?
So I recently started my own private practice, Ladina Gamble Counseling and Consulting Services, and I can be contacted at area code 702-353-7420. And as a new business owner, I'm still establishing websites and all that kind of stuff, but I can be reached at that number.
Awesome, that's great. Well, Adina, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure having you here to talk about something that is so important. And again, we're focused on small businesses here, but this is something that's important for everyone. So I appreciate your words of wisdom. So thank you so much.
In closing, I would just like to say self-care is so important for small business owners, and that needs to be done daily. And one of the ways individuals can also do that is to establish your own board of directors with family and friends, that if you need help, mental help, someone to talk to, that through your board of directors you can start there.
No, that's great. A great takeaway, and some more of my takeaways. So if today's conversation hit home, please share this episode with another business owner who might be struggling right now and just needs to know they are not alone. Staying in business isn't just about grit. It's about having the right support systems and knowing that it takes a village. We are here for you, and I hope that Ladina's words of wisdom reminded you of that. And if you've got a story you want to tell, or a topic you want me to cover, or just have questions, let me know. Thank you so much for joining Small Business Big Story today, where we amplify the voices of small business owners and advocates and supporters. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok so you never miss a story. And finally, head on over to opswell.com to learn more about joining the Opswell community. Thanks for listening to Small Business Big Story, and I'll see you on the next episode. That's the word. Now go make it real.